thank you so much for coming to the C.R.E.D conference. We at AFS are thrilled to be a part of this awesome virtual event. My name is Jill Woerner. I'm the Director of Educational Outreach at AFS-USA, and I am joined by my colleague, Alan.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Alan Evans. I'm manager of our outbound sponsored programs at AFS-USA, and I participated in an AFS scholarship through the State Department to Germany when I was in high school.
Okay, thanks, Alan. So we are here today to share with you information about study abroad, scholarships, and some more neat opportunities for you as high school students. And if you are an educator watching this, I hope you will find the time to share this information with your students, as there are numerous opportunities for your students, regardless of the language that you are teaching your students in class. So if you're unfamiliar with who AFS is, we are an organization that has been around for over 100 years, but specifically for the last 70 years, we have been navigating student exchange. So we focus a lot on intercultural learning, which we can help you and your students in your classroom through lesson plans, activities, and so on. But our goal is ultimately to create a more just and peaceful world through this idea of intercultural learning, which happens, of course, when our students participate in programs and become citizen diplomats across the country and across the world to share about their country and learn about their host country, and of course, learn language in the process. So we hope you'll join us in our AFS mission in creating this more just and peaceful world by helping to make sure your students have the opportunities to learn about student exchange, cultural exchange, language exchange, and all of the awesome other pieces that come with it. So one of the things that I think is really important to understand is what it means to be globally competent. So for our language educators in the audience, this is a graphic that was published in the ACTFL magazine called The Language Educator in the summer of 2020. And what this graphic is showing is a summary of all of the skills that demonstrate when a student is globally competent. So for students, for those of you who are watching this, I would encourage you to really look at this and take note of a few of the things that really surface here. Like, are you able to communicate effectively across language and cultural barriers? I'm sure that's what your language teachers are teaching you, but make sure that you have this on your list as far as a goal of something that you want to take away from that language class. Are you learning to understand how the world works as a system and that your actions are within your state or your community or the country of the United States? Are you learning that those truly have implications across the globe, that we are all part of this world system? Are you understanding and tuning in to the fact that we have as many, if not more, similarities across our cultures than differences? And certainly that everything that you do as a contributor to your local economy, those have impacts across the world as well. Okay, all of these different things contribute to your understanding and your global competence as a student. And teachers, I hope you're embedding these in your lessons and in your classes and your thematic units for your students. Also, coming out of some data that ACTFL was able to publish on their website is what employers are looking for when it comes to language learning for their employees. And you'll see that 9 out of 10 of the companies that were part of this survey from Ipsos, and the link is right there for you at the bottom of the slide, but you'll see that 9 out of 10 of these rely on employees with language skills in languages other than English. Spanish is at the top, but you'll see, look at some of these other languages, like 34% of the respondents were looking for individuals who could speak Chinese. And then 27% or 22% were looking for individuals who could speak French, and on down from there with Japanese and German, Russian, Arabic, Italian, and more. So having language skills is a very viable part and a very necessary part of joining the 21st century workforce. So I hope that all of the students are taking note of some of this data that you can see and how important it really is to have those skills, tangible skills that you can take with you into college and then into the workforce and beyond. So some other details for you are just related to the demand for foreign languages by these employers who are either domestic only or have international foreign language needs. And you'll see that the percentages of companies and employers who need language skills are not just companies that have international ties. They are companies that also feel like they have domestic needs only, but they still need language skills from their employees. So please take note of this and study hard in your language classes. And we encourage you to investigate our AFS programs and a lot of these scholarships that you're going to hear about in just a few minutes from Alan. And one other piece of data that I want to make sure that you've seen is from a graphic that comes from a website. They put this slide up, which shows their predictions in 2011 for what skills were going to be needed in 2020. And even and especially, I think, with COVID being a part of our current reality, look at some of these skills. They are spot on. Virtual collaboration. And you're going to see a program later that we're going to share with you called the AFS Global U Adventurer. Cross-cultural competency. This relates to a lot of our AFS programs. Social intelligence, which becomes significantly heightened when you learn more about others and their communication and conflict styles when you're living with them, engaging with them, going to school with them. And finally, this idea of transdisciplinarity, which helps you as the learners put together all of the subjects that you're learning in school and understand how all of these pieces factor in and combine together so that you understand how all of those are going to fit together in your future work world. Okay? All of those subjects that you're learning don't have to be in isolation of one another. And finally, that you're all part of a globally connected world. Whether you realized it or not before this presentation, you are part of this globally connected world. And that interconnectivity puts diversity and adaptability at the center of everything that you need to think about moving forward. So if you're looking for ways to engage and learn more language and learn more about cultures so that you can put all of these different pieces together, I'm going to turn it over to Alan to share with you some scholarship opportunities so that you can get started in applying right now.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jill, for giving us context and motivation for the global competencies and language learning. So as Jill mentioned, I'm going to speak now about 3 full scholarship programs of the U.S. Department of State that AFS implements. All of these programs are open to U.S. high school students. So you can spend a year of your high school career or a gap year in Germany, for example, on a full scholarship. So let's take a closer look at these programs, and then we're going to hear from some of our alumni about their experiences. The Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange Program, or Cbyx, provides year-long scholarships to Germany. Applications for the 21-22 program are due or were due on December 1, 2020. The Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study Abroad Program, or Yes Abroad, provides year-long scholarships to 14 countries of strategic importance, and applications are due on December 8, 2020. And thirdly, the National Security Language Initiative for Youth Program, or NISLY-Y, provides short summer programs and year-long scholarships to study specific languages in a handful of countries. Applications for the 21-22 program were due in early November, but you can register now on the website to be notified when applications open for the next year, 22-23. Now, alumni of all of these programs gain lifetime membership into the State Department's International Exchange Alumni Association and the alumni organizations of each respective program. And those alumni associations provide countless benefits, from exclusive opportunities to apply for State Department funding for community and outreach projects, to professional networking events, to job listings. So we're going to learn a little bit more about each program now. Let's jump in and talk about Cbyx. The Cbyx program provides 350 scholarships for high school students, high school graduates in vocational fields, and young professionals for an academic year homestay program. I'm going to focus now on the high school program, for which there are 250 scholarships available each year. So Cbyx was founded in 1983, and serves to foster the significant US-German transatlantic relationship. As a lot of you may know, the US is one of Germany's closest allies and partners outside of the European Union. And it's citizen exchanges like CB that are really the bedrock of our transatlantic relationship with Germany. And that relationship extends, of course, to economic trade, to cultural values, research and academia, and to mutual defense. And as such a large and long-standing program, CBYX has an incredible alumni network, which includes over 27,000 people, including leaders in business, elected officials, and even diplomats. While you're on a CBYX high school program, you live with a German host family, attend a local high school, you receive a month of intensive German language training upon arrival in Germany, and you definitely enjoy excursions to select German cities. You attend exclusive visits with diplomats, elected officials, and a visit to the German Bundestag, part of the program's namesake, which is the German federal parliament. I'm actually an alumnus of the CB program myself, and I can speak to the rigorous network of alumni, as well as the significant bonds that you build as a participant. I'm still in touch with my host family and many of my program peers from my program year, which was almost 20 years ago now. So you can learn more about the CB program and start your application on the program website, usagermanyscholarship.org, which you can see on your screen now. And if you're listening to this after the deadline has passed, you can also register on that website to learn to be notified once the next year's application opens. So now we're going to hear from Annie, a CBYX alumna.
Hi everyone, I'm Annie and I went to Germany in 2016-17 with the CBYX program through AFS. One of my favorite memories from while I was on program was a specific weekend towards the end of my exchange. My host great-grandmother, who we called Oma, turned 100 years old. It was obviously an exciting time for the family and meant tons of extended relatives and friends coming in from across Germany. There were tons of traditional foods, music, I was able to hear a ton of stories from the past. Although at this point I was quite integrated and I was close with my host family and really with my entire host community, this is one of the times where I realized this was truly a second family and I was like any other member. I would never call them a temporary or just my host family. They are my family. Shout out to the Schmidts. There are also plenty of day-to-day memories I look back on and I'm quite fond of, although they aren't super remarkable. I became super close with a group of friends, with a group of my classmates while I was in school, most of whom I still have contact with over social media. I also became quite close with the soccer team that I played on while I was there. This was especially important for me towards the beginning of my exchange, while I was still adapting and integrating myself in. They were so welcoming and inclusive, and I am eternally grateful to my teammates and the coach for making that environment. So in terms of my language skills post-exchange, I was able to complete the New York State Seal of Biliteracy in English and German my senior year of high school.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Annie, for sharing with us in that recording. And now let's learn a bit about the Yes Abroad program. So as you can see on your screen now in the third bullet point, the Yes Abroad program sends students on year-long programs to 14 countries of strategic importance. Those are Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Egypt, Ghana, India, Indonesia, Jordan, North Macedonia, Malaysia, Morocco, the Philippines, Senegal, Thailand, and Turkey. So Yes Abroad students live for the academic year with local host families and attend a local school, and they work to promote mutual understanding between the US and members of their host community by developing lasting relationships with their local peers. And we ask students to both develop their understanding of the host culture and to share about their own experience as Americans. So breaking down stereotypes by giving examples and providing context about daily life in the US. There are approximately 65 Yes Abroad scholarships available each year, with approximately 5 students participating in the program to each country each year. The Yes Abroad application closes on December 8th, and you can learn more about the Yes Abroad program and register to be notified when next year's application opens on the program website, which is yes-abroad.org. You can see it bottom of your screen now. And we have a wonderful alumna who was with our program last year in the Philippines, Haley, and let's hear from her now.
Hi, my name is Haley Ward. I'm from the state of Georgia, and I participated in the Yes Abroad program to the Philippines with AFS in 2019-2020. Today, I would like to share with you a little bit about my experience. While in the Philippines, I lived in a city known as Bayombong, which is about right here on a map of the Philippines. While in Bayombong, I lived with a host family known as the Adalims. And for the first time in my life, I was able to live in a household with sisters. Growing up with 3 brothers, it's a little different. I attended a school known as St. Mary's University, which was a private Catholic institution. And while there, I was enrolled in grade 11, and I was in the Humanities and Social Sciences strand. At school, I joined an organization known as Cbyx, or also known as Marian Central Board of Students. This organization was truly able to immerse me in my school and community, as I was able to make friends from that organization in and out of my class. I was able to build a better relationship with some of the teachers, and I was able to become an active volunteer in my community. While I did have language instruction every week, I believe that the relationships I was able to build with those people really allowed me to use the skills I learned in language class and helped me to become a better speaker. I have a couple of moments that I want to share with you, and I have a couple of items to kind of go along with it. And so the first item are these coins. These are Filipino pesos, and this is how much it would cost for me to go to and from school every day. And so on my way home, I would just give the driver the coins, and I typically would respond to anything he would say in English. However, after a while, I realized that I needed to cut that habit, and I started trying to figure out how to say things in Filipino. So I'd have to point out my house. So I'd have to say the color of the house. And so finally, when I learned how to say it in Filipino, the driver started giving me change back, and I realized that the whole time I was actually paying him a little too much.
Fantastic. Thanks to Haley for submitting that video to us. And now we're going to talk a little about the NISLE program. The NISLE program is language learning focused on the immersive study of strategic languages. And those specifically are Arabic, Mandarin Chinese, Hindi, Indonesian, Korean, Persian Tajiki, Russian, and Turkish. And the NISLE-Y program offers 6 to 8 week summer and academic year programs. Our NISLE-Y students typically attend intensive language lessons for approximately half of each day for the full duration of their program, spending the remainder of their time getting to know their host family, attending a local high school, studying the language, or participating in cultural enhancement activities. NISLE participants should be exceptionally focused on language learning, including plans to use their NISLE-Y language during future academic and career endeavors. And I must say, I'm always super impressed by the progress made by our NISLE students. Many come out of the summer program having achieved more than many college students do during a year of language study, and that's in just 6 to 8 weeks. And that includes students with no prior exposure to the language that they're studying on NISLE-Y. While the application has closed for the 21-22 academic year program and the summer 2021 program, you can learn more about NISLE-Y and register to be notified when the 22-23 application opens on the NISLE website, which is at the bottom of your screen now, NISLE, NSLI, for youth.org. And now we're going to hear from NISLE alumnus, Busara.
你好，欢迎光临。我的名字是 Busara，我很高兴认识你们。I studied abroad through AFS in Chengdu, China, the summer of 2018. This early international experience changed my life. Gave me the chance to turn my classroom studies into real opportunities to connect and communicate. The program was a lot of work, but it was so rewarding. Spending 8 weeks immersively learning with my host family actually gave me the confidence to major in Chinese. I am now building on the language and people skills that I learned to pursue a nuanced career in international business consulting in China. This likely would not have been possible without my time abroad at AFS. During my time abroad, I stretched my global perspective and my own personal growth. I learned how to navigate a big city. I hung out with some baby pandas. I walked the Great Wall of China, made some lifelong friends, and ate some delicious food. And also, yes, bullfrog does taste like chicken. The AFS experience is so unique. They blend the language classes and the culture activities to give you context for many of the things that you just don't understand when you first touch down in your program country. It's a little disorienting at first, but AFS is like a big family, and I felt supported every step of the way. No matter what happened, they worked tirelessly to make sure that I was taken care of so I could focus on my learning and experiencing as much as possible. I just wanted to express my sincere gratitude for AFS and tell you that you should absolutely look into one of their programs. It might just change your trajectory like it did mine.
So next you're going to see from a student named Kane. And the best part about Kane is that Kane was my student. So I was a Spanish teacher and Kane was my student in Spanish 2. And Kane applied for the C.R.E.D program last year. So during the summer of 2020, when C.R.E.D programs were not able to go and have their program live and in person like they typically would, like the program in China that you heard from Busara, Kane was able to participate in what we at AFS called the Virtual Summer Intensive Program. So a version of C.R.E.D to allow the students to participate in a 5-week intensive virtual program where they could still meet peers, they still had intense language lessons, and they were still able to engage in their program. So listen to how Kane, who had no previous experience with Hindi, took away some awesome elements from his 5-week program last summer through C.R.E.D.
Hello, my name is Kane Argafia, and I studied abroad with AFS in a virtual NSLI program in 2020, so this year, in which I learned Hindi with an emphasis on India. So right now, the way that I'm still continuing my learning of Hindi is I do hackathons, and hackathons are events where programmers can get together and build a project, usually in just under a couple of days, so 24 or 48 hours. And I'm a big programmer, I'm a computer science type guy, so I've been doing these for about a month now. And it's kind of cool because a lot of the people who do these hackathons are based in India. So all of them speak Hindi, and it's kind of cool to whenever I'm doing one of these hackathons, which I've been doing recently, to be able to automatically have a connection with the other person, because we both speak Hindi, which is kind of cool, and they're usually pretty surprised because most Americans do not speak the language or haven't even heard of it or haven't learned it before. So I think it's pretty cool to do that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jill, and thanks to our C.R.E.D alumni. Now we just want to review our eligibility requirements. At the very most basic level, while all our applicants must be U.S. citizens and enrolled in high school at the time of application, you can apply during your senior year to study abroad during a gap year, and eligibility does vary slightly by program and does change from year to year. So you can see the details on your screen now for the 21-22 program year, And you can also visit each program's website for full details. And I also want to highlight that no language learning experience in the language you would be learning and or practicing in your host country is required in order to apply for the program. I also want to mention that each program maintains an official Facebook page and Instagram feed, and these are a really fantastic way to browse and stay up to date and see what it's really like to be a CBYX Yes Abroad or NISLY-Y student. All of our programs also have informational advising staff available year-round. So don't hesitate to visit the program websites to learn more, to give us a call if you're interested or if you have further questions. And don't forget, if you have missed the deadline for this year or are only interested in applying for the next year, on each program website, you can register with your name and email address to be notified when the following year's application becomes available. Thank you so much for your time and your interest in our State Department scholarship programs. And I'm going to throw it back now to Jill, who's going to talk more about our AFS program offerings. Thanks, Jill.
Okay, thanks, Alan. So I'd be remiss if I didn't share one more scholarship opportunity with students, and that is the BP scholarship opportunity that we have, where we have the BP Global STEM Academies. And this is a full scholarship to study abroad in the summer to go to either Brazil, Egypt, or India. And there's actually another component of the program that happens in San Diego, California. And this is an opportunity to fully participate in a classroom, science, technology, engineering, and math focused program that is conducted in English. So this one is not so much focused on language or culture. It's really focused more on STEM, where language and culture become the byproducts of that program. So really your eligibility is based on your willingness to attend the academy in one of the destinations like Brazil, Egypt, or India, your willingness to travel unaccompanied, and your willingness to secure an ability to secure your travel visa if you are selected. And this year during the pandemic, there have been some awesome opportunities for these students to participate in a virtual format so that they didn't lose out on a big portion of their learning and through the experience. So I've seen some awesome things come through from the participants in this scholarship. Now on to other programs. Well, what happens if you are a student who's like, well, okay, but those aren't my intended languages or those aren't my intended destinations? Well, the best part is AFS, this is what we do. So we're happy to help. So if you were to go to our website, afsusa.org/study-abroad, then you would be able to choose from year and semester programs, summer programs that are 1 to 8 weeks in length, and programs that are specifically designed for those of you who would be graduating high school. So you might be older and you're going to be an adult, a legal adult, 18 plus when you go abroad. So why would you go abroad when you're 18 plus, right? If you're graduating high school, why would you do this? Well, a lot of the same things apply if you wanted to take a gap year, a gap semester, or go before you head off to college, right? You're still going to get that cultural immersion. It's going to be a huge boost to your communication skills. The independence that you gain through a program like this really sets you up nicely for that, for the workforce or even for that college life. It's tremendous professional development and a great chance to build your resume. And it certainly has a social impact. So you're going to have all of those friends and that network built before you head off to college to make sure that you are set up very nicely for that experience. So just to give you a snapshot of some of the places that you could go when you're 18 plus, right? You could go do high school and have that extra year if you weren't quite ready to say goodbye to high school in Denmark, Argentina, the Czech Republic, etc., Finland, Hungary, Norway, Latvia, even Iceland. Consider what those opportunities might be for you. You could even go to Paraguay, Portugal, Serbia, Switzerland, or Slovakia. So the opportunities are endless. You have a lot of chances to go abroad. And these are some summer options for you. If you do want to start college in August of 2021, then you can still look at some of these shorter programs for the summer that you're still eligible for as a high school graduate. So you can visit Colombia, China, Brazil, Argentina, and work on your language, or just explore the Sustainable Development Goals or some of their impacts over the summer. Now, even if you're not 18, there are still plenty of other opportunities for you to go abroad during the summer, whether you want to learn about the media and fake news in Germany or STEM in Germany, or you want to participate in a Bohemian art project in the Czech Republic, the opportunities for you to have these summer experiences are pretty tremendous. You can perfect your language, you can explore the world, have a safari, see new architecture, lots of great opportunities for you to go abroad for the summer. And if you want to take a year or a semester off of high school, there are certainly opportunities for you as well. So I'm just going to keep clicking through some of those pictures because they're very tempting. I know I would want to apply if I were still in high school. And if you want to see how you can match up with one of these opportunities, we have the destination match game. You can join an information session, right? Explore our website, explore the information about these programs, look at the dates, look at the ages, look at all of those pieces to help you figure out where you can put a stamp on your passport and go abroad, learn language, learn culture, and become a global citizen. Now, if you're not quite ready to hop on a plane yet, or your parents are not quite ready for you to have that experience, then I strongly encourage you to engage in the AFS Global U Adventurer program. This is a 5-week online program, so you can do it virtually in your PJs if you want to, but it is for minors only, so ages 14 to 17, where it's both synchronous and asynchronous learning. So some of that's going to be self-paced and some of that's going to be live with all of the people in your cohort or class. And all of the people in your cohort, they're from all over the world. So you're learning about cultures, you're learning about becoming a global citizen, you're learning about the global impact that you can have, but you're doing it alongside other teenagers very much the same age as you from around the world. There are some scholarships available, so I encourage you to check out at afs.org/AFS Global U Adventurer with dashes between all of those words, or just Google it and you'll find it, right? So join us and be part of the AFS effect. And if even that isn't quite enough for you, right? And after you do that Global U Adventurer program and you're like, I want more, but I'm not ready to get on a plane yet, then we would strongly encourage you to work with your parents and work alongside us to bring an exchange student into your home. These are all opportunities to expand your language, expand your cultural knowledge, and really have a brother or sister somewhere around the world. Teachers, if you're the ones listening to this presentation, I would love to talk to you and help you see how these exchange students can be a tremendous resource in your classroom in the years to come. So please join us, visit our website, reach out to Alan and I. We are happy to help you become an active global citizen and help us fulfill that AFS mission. So you can find us at afsusa.org. So on behalf of AFS USA, thank you and enjoy the rest of the C.R.E.D conference.
Thank you so much. Take care.